evening and welcome to your Friday, May 3, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. GRA EXXONMOBIL head to court over false declarations, says JAGDEO. Father of 4 killed after rescuing fellow villager from attackers. 2 weeks later, third victim in fatal Williamsburg smash-up succumbs to injuries. Arson suspected as fire destroys East Bank BERBICE house, and Caribbean ministers advocate for better pay for journalists to ensure higher quality reporting. Now for the news in detail. The Guyana government has filled some top diplomatic postings in several countries, including neighboring Brazil and in 2 European countries. Vanu Manikchand reports.
The Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Ministry on Friday announced 3 new diplomatic appointments. These include Professor Compton Bourne being named as the ambassador designate to Brazil. Professor Bourne is the former president of the Caribbean Development Bank and had held senior positions in several regional institutions. The Guyanese-born official is also the recipient of several regional awards, as well as the Order of Excellence, Guyana's highest national award. Also designated is Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, who will serve as Guyana's ambassador to Switzerland. Dr. Ramsamy, a former health minister who is currently serving as health advisor, will also assume responsibilities as Guyana's permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva. Meanwhile, the former Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Sesnarain Singh, has been appointed Ambassador Designate to the Kingdom of Belgium. He will also be appointed as Guyana's permanent representative to the European Union and the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. It was previously reported that former chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Paul Cheong, will replace Singh at the helm of Gaisuku. According to the Foreign Ministry, these new appointed diplomats will be taking up their positions shortly. The Guyana government has been placing much emphasis on strengthening its foreign policy, which includes filling the various diplomatic posts at overseas missions. Only in February, Dr. Richard Van West Charles was accredited as Guyana's ambassador to Venezuela. However, despite these new appointments, there are still diplomatic vacancies at some missions, such as the High Commission in India, which is without a diplomat since October 2022, following the recall of former High Commissioner Charandas Prasad. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
The Guyana government is paying serious attention to the recent false declarations on oil well equipment that were imported on behalf of EXXONMOBIL, saying that it will get the necessary explanations about the discrepancies during court proceedings that were filed by the Guyana Revenue Authority. Here is Vanu Manikchand again with the details.
The Guyana Revenue Authority had flagged false declarations made by a Trinidadian logistics company that acted as the broker on oil well equipment imported for EXXONMOBIL. It was reported that the company submitted the declaration listing US $4.4 million worth of oil well equipment as a whopping US $12.1 billion. GRA has since filed legal proceedings over the overstatement, and according to Vice President Dr. Bart JAGDEO, government will get the details of how this false declaration was made.
The effort of GRA to clarify this issue did not meet with helpful responses from Exxon. It's unbelievable that anyone could even think about submitting an invoice for $12 billion. That's like 2 FPSOs. Here, I don't know how come they came up with that. They said it's exchange rate. I don't know what exchange rate they could have used, etc. So we'll get the explanations in court. We're looking forward to get the explanations in court.
Only earlier this week, President of EXXONMOBIL Guyana Limited, Alistair Routledge, told reporters at a press conference that it has cleared up the discrepancies with GRA, cut ties with the broker that overstated the cost, and improved their internal systems. But the Vice President posited that government is fully supportive of GRA's efforts to address this matter in the courts.
We've made it clear that if invoices are deliberately increased, it will have an impact on two things. It will overstate the cost bank, and two, it will change the tax liabilities of the government, because as you know, in accordance with the PSA that Trotman signed, the responsibility for paying taxes rests with the government of Guyana on behalf of EXXONMOBIL. And so we are treating this matter seriously.
According to JAGDEO, government has since taken certain steps to ensure that this was not a one-off incident.
Before we finalize any of the audit, this audit, the second audit, that the GRA will go back and check all the back invoices for the past several years to see that there's been no overstatement of any of these invoices. It's a serious matter, and we're taking it seriously. That is why your auditors have to ensure that there's a benchmarking. There's a benchmarking software. So I asked the GRA, and they said they use benchmarking software. The audits have to look at comparable costs. So if the people buy a screw for $10 and then they check the benchmarking software, and the benchmarking software says a screw of that nature can only cost $3, then they can query that in the audit. That's the purpose of the audit.
Reporting for the Evening News, Fanu Manikchand.
The third person who was involved in the two motorcycle fatal smash-up at Williamsburg quarantine has succumbed to his injuries some 2 weeks after the crash. Our BERBICE correspondent Andrew Carmichael has this story.
The April 19th accident along the Williamsburg Public Road quarantine BERBICE had already claimed the lives of Deolal Tulsi, a 21-year-old ranger who was attached to the Albion Sugar Estate, and 22-year-old Rodney Emmanuel, who worked as a laborer. The third person who was involved in the crash, 17-year-old Viram Sicharan of Williamsburg, has since succumbed to his injuries he received. He was the pillion rider on one of the bikes involved in the crash. At the time of the crash, none of the riders were wearing safety helmets, the police had stated. Sicharan had sustained a fractured skull and was transferred to New Amsterdam Public Hospital before being moved to Georgetown Public Hospital, where he remained until his passing. His sister-in-law, Roshni Muthusamy, said following the crash, Sicharan's condition had been worsening.
The doctor said I had to speak to the doctor exactly what happened to him, because the doctor said we system like the organ them start close because he don't really respond and anything, so the organ start feel, lungs, the heart, everything start feel, and the doctor say the heart, the brain also start feel, so that we have to prepare. We can have anytime, a call anytime, because he's doing no response. It's already 9 days in the hospital. That was 70.
Police had been hoping Sicharan would recover so they could get more information to conclude their investigation. Police had stated that Tulsi was riding motorcycle CM2969, while Emmanuel was riding motorcycle CM50, with Sicharan being the pillion rider. They were heading in different directions, and according to eyewitnesses, both bikes were in the process of overtaking vehicles when a head-on collision occurred. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Yet another fire has destroyed a house in Region 6, making it the third known incident within a 1-week span. The latest fire has occurred on the east bank of Berbice. Here is Andrew Carmichael again with the details.
Thursday night's fire completely destroyed a one-story upper flat situated at lot 347 Heathburn Village, East Bank, Berbice. Aaliyah Jackson, a 22-year-old government part-time worker attached to the National Psychiatric Hospital, occupied the building along with her husband and 3-year-old child. At the time of the blaze, no one was at home. Jackson said she had gone to New Amsterdam to purchase food when she received reports that her home was on fire.
I get a call from my friend saying my house on fire. I didn't left nothing at home in my house. After I talking to my friend, my cousin called me, which is my neighbor, and tell me my whole house burnt up.
Jackson said the stove could not have been left on because she did not cook for the day. Jackson also ruled out the possibility that the fire could have been electrical in origin.
Nothing was in plug-in. The only thing was on was the downstairs light and the upstairs light. Nothing else, no charger, nothing I left plug-in.
You have a fridge?
The freezer, I unfreeze it, defrost it, and I clean it. I never plug it on back.
According to Jackson, it is not possible for any other occupant to have left something plugged in since they were both out for a few days.
It is normally be me, my son, and my child father. But so happens, my child father end up spending some time with his mother, with his son.
According to the young woman, she was told that an unwelcome family member was seen going into the street prior to the fire, and when smoke was seen coming from the kitchen area, that family member was spotted running away. The building was owned by her father, who is currently in the interior working. Persons who are interested in helping the family can contact them on telephone number 674-0102. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Joseph Ford, a 44-year-old contractor of Middle Street, Sparendam, East Coast, Demerara, lost his life on Thursday evening after he was chopped and shot by a group of men who were angered by his intervention to rescue a fellow villager from their brutal attacks. The man's wife, Shawana Burnett, told the Evening News that on Tuesday, her husband was heading to the Pleasance line top when he came across about 4 men who were brutally assaulting a resident of their community. The woman explained that her husband, who was at the time riding his bicycle, dismounted and went to the fellow villager's aid. Ford reportedly successfully rescued the man and transported him to the hospital for treatment. Since this incident, the woman explained that her husband was subjected to threats from the group of assailants. Then, on Thursday at around 21 hours, the man had departed his home to go to the Pleasance Railway embankment. Whilst there, he was reportedly attacked by the same group of men. Reports reaching this newscast are that Ford was forcibly removed from his bicycle and badly beaten and chopped about his body. He was eventually reportedly shot by one of the suspects. The man's wife explained that she was at home when she received the call, informing her about her husband's condition. Upon rushing to the scene, the woman said she saw her husband motionless in a pool of blood. He was later pronounced dead. Coming up, Public Works Ministry has been delinquent, says VP, on illegal structures and government reserves, and GTA seeking to enhance customer service at upper quarantine businesses. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at oreopromo.com.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe. Premier. Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
This Mother's Day, celebrate in style and give mom the chance to win big. Simply top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to be one of 5 lucky winners of a brand new, fully stocked French door fridge with groceries worth over $550,000 each. One winner will be selected weekly from April 5th to May 9th. Start topping up today. Digicel, the network for everyone,
Guys, I think I'm in love. Wow!
Yeah, I was looking at you too.
What? What are you talking about? I'm in the tiles. Where did you get them?
Oh, Mima Decor. Obviously the best tile store in Guyana. Come, let me take you there.
My kitchen, my bathroom, my floors. Mima Decor has everything. And the prices are great too.
So, girl, want to have a date now?
We can build on that. Dad! Dad!
Is that real?
आप लोगों को नजर आ रहे हैं?
Well hit. Away it goes. That is a ridiculous. Look at
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at oreopromo.com.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Jamaican minister within the office of the Prime Minister, Robert Nesta Morgan, has advocated for an increase in salaries for journalists across Guyana. According to the minister, implementing this approach could result in a community of well-paid journalists dedicated to ensuring accurate information is disseminated to the public. Minister within the office of the Prime Minister in Guyana, Kwame McCoy, has also agreed with the sentiments. Here's what they had to say.
If you are very ill and you need a doctor, what kind of doctor are you going to get? Are you going to get the cheapest doctor, or are you going to find the best doctor and pay him the most money? If you are charged with a serious crime, are you going to find the cheapest lawyer downtown, or are you going to try and get the best lawyer? So why is it then that we try to find the cheapest journalists to hire in our government services? Why is it that we find a child who just leave university, doesn't even know how to write a press release properly, and we pay them little to nothing and expect government communications to be the best? We have to pay people better. Nobody not clapping and no more money. It's not just in Guyana, but it's across the world, where the only time people see the communicators as important is when you have a crisis. But the best communicator is the one who prevents a crisis from taking place. When I was a publicist, I loved living a boring life because I wanted to stop the problem before it became a problem. That's what the best communicator is not the best crisis manager, is the best crisis preventer. And the only way you can prevent crises in government is by having well-experienced professionals who are well paid, so they don't have to go out there and hustle and divide their time between hustling in the private sector and working in the public sector. That is the only way we're going to confront the new challenges that exist with new media, with social media, with fake news and misinformation. An army of properly compensated, highly trained, well-equipped professionals.
As we continue to do our work, as we continue to remain committed to the task and truly through nationalists making sure that we contribute to the development of our society through our profession, that better days will always come, and better days indeed are ahead.
Michael Henry joins us now to report that Guyana and Jamaica have signed a Memorandum of Understanding for collaboration in the information and communications arena. Here's more.
Stakeholders on Friday gathered at the Cara Lodge in Georgetown to witness the signing of the MOU between Guyana and Jamaica. Jamaica's Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Morgan, has since hailed this agreement as important.
There's also the issue of misinformation and disinformation. And I think not only is it an annoyance to the general public to be constantly being fed by misinformation and disinformation, it is also a threat to our democracy. And it is only through a collaborative approach between governments, civil society, media, traditional media, that we can confront what is becoming a serious cancer.
Furthermore, he expressed that governments are obligated to play a significant role in removing common misconceptions peddled by various agencies, especially through social media platforms.
The algorithms are designed for excitement. They are not designed for truth. And we have developed a culture in many of our societies where grievance has been monetized and falsehoods have been monetized. We have an obligation as government representatives and as members of our varying societies to prevent disinformation and misinformation from taking hold. As not only does it have a negative impact on us politicians, but it also has a negative impact on the governance structure of our society.
Meanwhile, his Guyana's counterpart, Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for public affairs, Kwame McCoy, expressed similar sentiments.
Interest in deepening and intensifying the relationship and growing the relationship, learning from each other, etc. And that is exactly what was envisaged, and therefore the original vision, which creates a single market and economy within CARICOM, is being realized. And
Michael Henry, The Evening News.
In observance of World Press Freedom Day, the Office of the Prime Minister of Guyana yesterday hosted a climate forum to remind journalists of their important role of disseminating credible and accurate information. Speaking at the event was Jamaica's Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Nesta Morgan, who contends that climate change reporting must be taken seriously. Kelroy Williams tells us more.
The Climate Forum was hosted at the Pegasus Suits and Corporate Center in Kingston, Georgetown, and saw a number of key stakeholders in attendance, including journalists. World Press Freedom Day is being observed under the theme, A Press for the Planet, Journalism in the Face of an Environmental Crisis. As such, the panelists at the event discussed this topic and underscored the need for journalists, particularly in the Caribbean, to take climate reporting seriously. Emphasizing this point was Jamaica's Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Nesta Morgan. The Jamaican Minister, who is visiting Guyana along with a delegation from his ministry, underscored that factual and credible climate change reporting is important now more than ever, considering the influence social media has on environmental issues and conversations among the wider population.
People who may not necessarily have climbed the academic ladder as far as they should have, who depend traditionally on radio and TV for actual information. If we as Caribbean states do not quickly invest in a system and a structure to protect our people from misinformation, disinformation, and what I call the degradation of traditional media standards, what we're going to have is a crisis of trust and confidence, which ultimately we transcend just climate change and go into a trust and confidence in our democratic institutions.
Meanwhile, according to Morgan, social media and the instant release of information about national issues is negatively impacting the financial status of broadcast agencies across the Caribbean. To combat this, he noted that investments must be made to reinvigorate the role of traditional media and implement restrictions to social media consumption.
We need to start taking these things serious, because I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Last point, the TikTok in the Caribbean is not the same as the TikTok in China. Why? Why is the algorithm in China different from the algorithm in the Caribbean? Why am I allowed to not read certain articles in Canada, but I can read them in Guyana on particular news websites?
This year marks the 31st anniversary of the United Nations General Assembly decision, proclaiming May 3rd as the International Day for Press Freedom. World Press Freedom Day 2024 is dedicated to the importance of journalism and freedom of expression in the context of the current global environmental crisis. For the evening news, Kelroy Williams.
Vice President Dr. JAGDEO has called for the Ministry of Public Works to be more proactive in addressing the construction of illegal structures on the government's reserves. Let's find out more from Kamesi Slow.
During his press conference on Thursday, Vice President Dr. JAGDEO spoke about the situation regarding vending along the seawall in Georgetown. Recently, some vendors were asked to remove their permanent structures, thus leading to confrontations with officials from the Ministry of Public Works. According to Dr. JAGDEO, however, the vendors have raised valid points in that when they were erecting their operations, the ministry never informed them that permanent structures were not allowed. In this regard, the Vice President called out the ministry for being laid back and not proactive when it comes to addressing the erection of illegal structures on government's reserve.
Last week we had a number of people who were removed from the seawall. And they had a good point. Their point was that we were told we got permission to vend here, and we were told that we can't vend on fixed structures because ultimately the seawall has to be developed into a boardwalk for everyone, the whole seawall. But you can continue vending, which is something we have always supported people with, that they can vend in a manner that doesn't disrupt other people or their businesses, that they keep the place clean, and the structures are mobile, and that they don't stop at like critical junction on a highway, which can be dangerous. So they claim, why didn't ministry tell us this whilst we were building the structure? And I think they have a point. Ministry of Public Works has been delinquent. I've spoken to them 1,000,000 times. Delinquent when this happens. Sometimes we said already, people erect all of these signs. A man just goes and put up a big sign by the side of the highway, and they have no permission whatsoever. They block the highway, they change the aesthetics of the place. Then they would see the sign going up, the ministry, and then for weeks later, then they will start going to say, you don't have permission, take it down. So we get into confrontation with people. We said to them 1,000,000 times, the president has said this to them, ensure that you police the highways so that people don't do this.
Meanwhile, the Vice President went on to explain that the government is not opposed to vending, but insisted that persons must follow the rules.
We recognize the right of people to earn a living. So we have allowed vending, but provided these facilities are mobile, so when you need to upgrade the place, they can be easily removed. A number of people have defied that and built fixed structures.
Already, the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, M&CC, has removed vendors who were illegally vending outside of Demico House in the Stabrook Market area. This was done following a court order. A number of other business entities in the capital city are following suit to have illegal vending outside of their business premises removed. I am Kamisi Slow for the Evening News.
The Guyana Tourism Authority is seeking to improve customer service at businesses operating along the Upper Quarantine. This is as the agency seeks to lift the quality of service being offered to customers by various providers who encounter visitors, local or foreign. Our BERBICE correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports.
The Guyana Tourism Authority, GTA, recently rolled out its training program in Skeldon to enhance customer service standards. One of the areas of focus is the Upper Quarantine, inclusive of the tongue of Caribbean, which borders Suriname. Training and Tourism Development Officer of GTA, Chetram Prasad, says the overall aim is to enhance the quality of service being offered throughout the entire region.
This is one of the first training happening in Skeldon here because we wanted to do this training first. It has to do with tourism, basically an introduction to tourism. It has to do with customer service and talking about cultural differences. So we're doing this as an introduction program so that we can feel the need for what is happening in the Skeldon area, because we want to know what are the next programs that we should bring.
Over 25 persons participated in the sessions, which were held at City Inn Hotel in Caribbean. The customer service training program provides information on visitors, trend, and also provides statistics enabling providers to make informed choices.
We cover tourism, types of tourism, what is happening in the tourism industry in terms of stats. So we compare stats from 1996 to 2022 and 2023, so persons can get an understanding of visitor arrival to our country. We also talk about customer service, what is expected of the industry when it comes to customers and dealing with customers that are coming into Guyana or visitors that are coming to Guyana. And we also talk about the cultural mix that is happening in our country, whether it be persons that are coming in to live or new persons or new cultures that are coming into our country.
Similar programs have been implemented for providers in the New Amsterdam area. Meanwhile, Prasad says the work of the GTA is positively impacting on the community.
We are seeing a massive change in the way how tour guides and tour operation businesses are happening right now, because we see more and more people want to either do things the right way, right, and do it more professionally. So we're seeing more and more businesses, whether it be hotels, interior lodges, whether it be resorts, whether it be tour guides or tour operators, we're seeing them more and more want to become licensed, registered and licensed by the Guyana Tourism Authority. So yes, we are seeing a positive change in the industry. We have been doing a lot of training in the New Amsterdam area, and we don't want Skeldon to feel left out. So we're coming down more to the BERBICE area because we know that there's a need here for it too. In Essequibo, we do the same thing. We do it in Regina, and then we move into the Pomeroon area. In Bartica, well, Bartica is more central, so we do a new number of training there. In Linden, we also have plans to do that. So the idea is to capture all parts of the region. It's only because Region 6 is so big in terms of the landscape. So if we do in New Amsterdam, we still have to do the same programs farther up in Region 6, which is the Skeldon area.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, May 4, 2024 at 1:30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the BERBICE River Bridge is expected to be closed at 13:35 on Saturday, May 4, 2024, also for 1.5 hours.
5 Guyanese named in West Indies ICC T20 World Cup squad, and Windies women end Pakistan tour with 8-wicket win. Details of these stories and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MACORP.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Brimeville.
Dad! Dad!
Is that real? Well hit. Away it goes. That is a ridiculous. Look at this.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at OreoPromo.com.
Entrepreneurs, coconut byproducts are in high demand. How can you cater to that demand? By investing in a coconut shredder from Sylvie's. Guaranteed to increase your output, this 110-volt stainless steel machine shreds coconut in seconds, allowing you to also save on labor and time. From the shreds, you can create coconut powder, oil, milk, etc. Order yours now at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Dad! Dad!
Is that real? Well hit. Away it goes. That is a ridiculous. Look at this.
In today's tough driving conditions, every engine faces three powerful enemies: engine heat, pollutants, and frequent short trips. Each factor is a direct cause of engine sludge, a buildup of dirt that can block vital oilways. This triple threat demands triple protection. Castrol GTX's Triple Protect Power is engineered to fight these three main causes of engine sludge.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or